Good morning, students. Now, today we are going to move forward with our chapter. In the second part, we are going to learn about the measures to remove poverty. Okay, so what are the measures to remove the poverty? First of all, we are going to learn about this combating just poverty by the help of GDP growth. Okay, then combating poverty by improving the distribution of income through fiscal and legislative measures, which means taxes. Okay, so we are here going to control this poverty by the help of taxes, which falls under this fiscal policy. Now, the third is combating poverty through population control. So, population control is also there. If population will be controlled, definitely the poverty can be brought down. The last one will be this other measures of enhancing the quality life of the poor. So, if you can improve the life of the poor or lifestyle of the poor by giving them more subsidies or granting them some money into their account, we can improve their condition as well. Or at the same point of time, if you say about that some medical facility can be provided to them, or maybe possible that some education is provided to them, like RT is there, it is for the poor uh, children's, like right to education. So already some schools are doing this thing. So this is also simply done to improve the conditions or the lifestyle of the poor peoples. Now, how do we fight this, like combating poverty through GDP growth? How it can be done? So GDP growth is a solution to the problem of poverty for sure. When the pace of GDP growth is accelerated, new opportunity for employment are generated. So when your GDP rises, definitely the employment will also rise. Okay. More and more workers will find the employment in the farms and factory. That is true. More people will be getting employment in the farm and factories. So this is basically the first point, that by improving this GDP growth, we can improve the condition of the poverty in India. Then the second point will be definitely regarding this fiscal measures. So here combating poverty through distribution of income through fiscal and legislative measures means when the income is distributed among the future among the farmers or all these poor people, how it can be done. So basically we are having fiscal and legislative measures. So what is the fiscal measures? It is all about taxes. So fiscal measures is about fiscal policy which is related to the taxes. We should impose less taxes on the poor so that more money will be available to the poor. This is how their condition can be improved. So here the government places greater reliance on progressive tax structure. It implies higher tax on the rich while the poor are exempted. So in India, we are having this tax rate system which is called as progressive tax system, which means if your income is increasing, the tax will also rise. So there is a kind of this is a kind of tax in which the rich are under this more tax collection than the poor. So poor are basically exempted from this kind of taxes. This is how it is done. Now, after this, the tax receipt of the government are used to subsidize to purchases of the poor section. So when this tax comes to the government uses this money to give some subsidy to the poor peoples. So this will also improve the necessity like education, housing, food, and all these kind of articles which are required by the poor also. So by subsidy, by providing subsidy, this is done. So first of all, the government collect the taxes, then just spend that money by the ways of subsidies for the sake of poor. Now, capital grants should be offered to the poor. Okay, for construction of their houses, beside grant for self-employment. So some capital grants or money should also be provided to the poor in order to improve their condition. Now, legislative measures. What are the legislative measures like? Like here, minimum wage act is there. Okay, what is minimum wage act? That So this is going to improve their condition if the employers are giving proper salaries to the employee. If the exploitation is there in the industry, then people you are not paying enough money to these employees, then what will happen? Their condition will become worse day by day. So this is the first thing which can be done by the employer in all kind of factories and industries. The legislative measure also include policy like price floor for the purchase of farm product. So farm this price floor policy means this is simply done for the farmer for the purchase of their output. So whatever the products like wheat is been manufactured for by the farmers, and if that person is going to the market and he wants to sell that wheat, so proper prices should be given to him. Okay, means whatever the cost is there of that particular person should be recovered, and enough profit should be there for him. So this will improve his condition. So for this, the government has implemented this price floor. So the government just supports the farmers. This is also called as MSP, minimum support price for the farmers, at which they are going to purchase the goods or farm products of the farmers. So this is just improve the condition of the rural areas as well. Then RT, as always told you, that right to education is there. It is also simply done if the education will be provided to the poor. By education also, the condition of the poor can be improved. If the person is educated, then definitely he will be taking help of that education to improve his own condition. Maybe not soon, but later in the future his condition can be improved by the measures of educations. So now the next point is combating poverty through population control. So here we already know India is a populated country, so there are a lot of poor also, because it is not possible to feed each and everyone who is poor in India. So definitely population control should be done. So if this thing can be done easily, we can control this. Not easily, but still we can just fight with this kind of poverty which is there in India. I mean to say absolute poverty. Now, India's experience shows that the increase in national income failed to reflect the quality of the life of the poor owing to the rapid increase in population. So, per capita income is very low in India. We know this. So, because population rising to neutralize the rise in the national income. So, we know this very well that our national income is rising, but at the same point of time, our population also rising. So, it is just a kind of thing. The more people are coming from middle class to this poor class, because what happens, this continuously this inflation is happening because of this population. Lot of people are demanding the goods and services, so this also leads to rise of inflation in the country, and because of that the middle class will also slip into the poor category. So this is why the poverty can increase. So for this we need to control this population. So poverty can be removed only if the growth rate of population moderated, so that the increase in GDP is translated into increase in per capita GDP. So if this thing is controlled population, then definitely a per capita income will also rise. Now the control of population would mean a reduction in the size of labor force. This would correct the structural imbalance between labor supply and capital stock. So see what will happen if there is a reduction in the size of the labor. What will happen, the people will go through machinery and they will try to create a balance in the labor supply force in India. Means right now the labors will be less, so they will be focusing on getting some investment through this capital stock. Capital stock means machinery. So it will be kind of thing which again leads to the structural changes in the economy, because when labor will not be available at a greater extent in India, definitely whoever will be there available as a labor, he will be paid more by the company. Okay, and at the same point of time the company will have to some invest some money as well on the machinery or capital stock. Okay, now the rate of participation percentage of labor for gainfully employed and would increase in the rate of participation implies corresponding decrease in the percentage of population below poverty line. Okay, so what are they saying? The rate of participation of this labor force is gainfully employed would increase the rate of participation. So see what you implies. See, when the population will reduce, so more and more people will go for work, and this percentage of this labor force will increase. And as a result, when they will work, they will get some income, and this is also push them above this below poverty line. They will be pushed above this below poverty line. So poverty line, if you're lying above this poverty line, then definitely you are not poor. Okay, so it is just simply done to improve the condition of the poor. Now the other measures, enhancing quality of the life and the poor. So what can be done beside it? So first of all, you can say that the development of the agriculture should be done. So agriculture should be mechanized and modernized. First thing, then better seeds of irrigation facilities, chemicals should be used, fertilizer should be used. So small farmers should be given help, financial help should be given, means by the help of credit through banks like RRB. So all this money in terms of loan should be given to the farmer. This will improve the condition of the rural agriculture farmers who are involved or indulge in this agriculture, and their condition is very worst. So it should be done. Then landless farmers should be given land. So those people who are not even having land, they should be granted some land to do this agriculture farming. So this is how you can improve the condition in agriculture rural areas. Then second point is stability in the prices. We know very well that the price stability is an important point, because this is somehow leads to poverty increment. Like elevation means increment. So simply, if inflation is there, then more money of the people will go over spending on their expenditures like buying food articles and many day-to-day basic activities they do in the economy. Because of that, more money will be required, and as a result of it, when more money will be spent by them, they will be left with very few savings. So this will make them poor day by day. So inflation should be controlled. So if the prices continues to rise, the standard of living of the poor will continue to get deteriorate, or even worse. Okay, so price can be stabilized when production of food grains and other goods of mass consumption is increased. So if the prices of goods are increasing, then we should be controlled. Then the when goods of mass consumptions are distributed to the poor through fair price shops, so there also the conditions should be done. Like if you have seen this fair price shop means किराने की दुकान, नॉट किराने की दुकान, ये उचित मूल्य की दुकान होती है, राइट? और उसके ऊपर हम बोल सकते हैं कि दैट इज अ फेयर प्राइस शॉप at which they will be giving all this kind of grains like wheat, rice, oil to these poor people who are having बिलो poverty लाइन कार्ड. सो सिर्फ जिनके पास में बीपीएल कार्ड है उन्हीं को चीजें मिलती है. सो ये चीज भी उनका इन्फ्लेशन का जो इफेक्ट रहता है उसको काफी हद तक कंट्रोल करती है. सिंपली जस्ट कंट्रोल दैट इफेक्ट. ओके, नाउ इरेडिकेशन ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट, unemployment को remove करना. So means specific measures should be taken to remove this underemployment level in our country. Okay, because this is like disguised unemployment is also there. So basically, if employment is there in the economy, the more people will be employed, they'll be getting income, and this is how you can improve the condition of the poor. For that, cottage industry should be there. Opportunity for employment must be encouraged or fully explored. Then after this industries, vocationalization of education should be given to high priority of the track. Vocationalization means ट्रेनिंग देना लोगों को, गरीब लोगों को, ताकि कुछ स्किल आ जाएगा तो वो लोग काम कर पाएंगे एंड दे विल बी वर्किंग एंड गेटिंग सम इनकम. तो उनके लिए अच्छा हो जाएगा. तो वोकेशनलाइजेशन एजुकेशन में होना चाहिए. ओके, दैट शुड बी डन लाइक इंक्लूजन ऑफ सम vocational courses. Now the schools are also paying more attention over this vocational courses. Like we have IP subject over there, so IP is also providing you some technical knowledge about the computers. So that is vocationalization. Now the next point is labor intensive technique. Labor intensive technique means what? Employing more labors को रख के काम करना machinery के जगह. So that is called as labor intensive. So this should be encouraged in प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस. तो इसको प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस में इसको encourage करना चाहिए to remove this poverty. Then provision for minimum needs for the poor. So government should take proper measures to meet the need of the poor. Too much that supplying them with drinking water, education, health facilities, etc. So government will have to do expenditures over there in order to increase the, or not increase means improve the condition of the poor. So they will so government here will have to take care of this minimum needs of the poor, so that the poor is not deprived from many things, necessity things like all these food articles, and especially food articles beside education and all. Then special focus should be there on backward region. So in India we are having some backward areas, really backward, like Odisha, Nagaland, UP, Bihar. So what we can do over there, there should be focus on this backward region, and some private investment should be given, like private players like businessmen should be encouraged to develop some industry in these areas. Once industry will come, the people over there will get employment and their condition will also improve. Now the seventh point is opportunity for self-employment. So opportunities for self-employment should be further explored. Means more and more industries or ITI institutions already there. They should be open to provide some technical knowledge, and entrepreneurship education should be given to the peoples. So also loans should be offered to banking and financial institution at a low rate of interest, setting up in small enterprises. So basically some technical knowledge should be given, entrepreneurship should be given impetus in our country, and if entrepreneurs will come, then definitely they will provide more employment. So this will increase the self-employment picture as well as this will generate employment also. So this is going to give a kick start to our economy. Then effective public distribution system. Now, what is this kind of thing? See, an effective public distribution must be place of supply of food grain and other essential item to this below poverty line population of the country. So those people who are under this BPL, जो गरीबी रेखा है, below poverty line के अंदर आते हैं, उनका ये जो distribution system रहता है, like fair price shop रहती है, उचित मूल्य की दुकान. So this kind of thing should be kind of thing like जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो रहा है गरीब लोगों को, वो सिर्फ बेनिफिट उनको ही मिलना चाहिए, किसी और को नहीं. जो नॉन पुअर है, the benefit should not go to him. So that is the thing which should therefore they should look out for. So food grains and coarse cloth must be provided at subsidized rate through fair shops and under direct control and supervision of the government. So this is very important. The government should supervise all this kind of thing. Otherwise, many times we have seen that the poor are not getting the things, but the non-poor are taking. They're coming on vehicles to this fair price shops, Uchit Mulya ki dukan, by cars even sometime, and they are also taking the benefit because they are having BPL card with them. So that is not good. Government should check this thing. Now, what are the measures adopted by the government to remove the poverty now? Okay, so there is Swarn Gram Swarojgar Yojana (SGSY). It is implemented on April 1999. So basically, it was for rural areas. So this Yojana has come to be known as Swarn Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana. So it replaced this previous some policies were there program which were being run by the government. Now this thing has replaced this integrated rural development program and training of rural youth for self-employment. So IRDP and TRISEM was replaced by this thing. So what happened under this program? There was large number of small scale industries were set up in the rural areas. So these small enterprises were organized as an individual enterprise to work on the collective basis of self-help group. Now, what is this self-help group? See, self-help group is a small investments, small savings which is done by the people of that local area. And if one person is taking or establishing some small industry in that particular area, he will be financed by this arrangement of this self-help group fund. So there will be fund which will be accumulated by these people, and one person is going to get establishing industry, and he'll be getting that funding. So this is called as self-help group. This is also done to provide a kind of self-employment to the peoples over there in the village. Now in 2011-12, the SGSY scheme, now it is called as NRLM, means National Rural Livelihood Mission. This thing is now. So now we are be reading about this NRLM. What is this livelihood mission? So this is again to improve this condition of the rural area. So this scheme is also known as आजीविका. इसको आजीविका भी बोलते हैं. तो first scheme this was implemented in 150 district in 2012-13. Then in 2 years what happened? Another 150 districts were covered, and by the end of 2016-17 what happened, the scheme was extended to the whole country. NRM को पूरी country में लागू कर दिया गया था. Now this program is very good. It is expected to provide self employment to 90 lakh people. Now 90 lakh people को इसने जो रोजगार दिया है. नाउ आज क्या हो गया है? द प्रोग्राम इज नाउ रीनेम्ड एज दीन दयाल अंत्योदय योजना. तो दीन दयाल अंत्योदय योजना आज उसका नाम चेंज हो चुका है, एनआरएम का आज उसको ये बोलते हैं. नाउ द थर्ड पॉइंट इज संपूर्ण ग्रामीण रोजगार योजना SGRY. व्हाट इज संपूर्ण ग्रामीण रोजगार योजना? Again, it was provided for employment. Rozgar was it was launched on 1st September 2001. So Jawahar Gram Samriddhi Yojana and Employment Assurance Scheme were integrated into a single योजना. So basically ग्राम समृद्धि योजना और एम्प्लॉयमेंट एश्योरेंस स्कीम को इसमें मर्ज कर दिया गया, तब सिंगल योजना चलती है. संपूर्ण ग्रामीण रोजगार योजना चलेगी. ठीक है. द मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द योजना इज टू प्रोवाइड employment opportunity to the workers, employment देना, then to focus on development of regional economic and social condition. So whatever the social और regional एक backwardness है उसको remove करने के बारे में था ये. To improve the economic condition, थोड़ा पैसा है लोगों के पास. Then the third, to focus on the development of infrastructure, means construction of road and all. तो ये चीजें भी जरूरी है. ग्राम means in the villages it is also a requirement. So now this is योजना has set a target of creating 100 crore Mendes labor. However, it is now to be subsumed in Manrega. So Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act is the full form of this thing. Now what happened? इसके अंदर क्या हुआ कि 100 करोड़ मैन डेज फॉर दिस लेबर, इसमें कुछ लेबर्स को कुछ दिन के लिए रोजगार मिलता था. अबाउट फॉर दिस 100 मैन डेज, 100 डेज का एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलता था, वो मनरेगा के अंदर कर दिया गया है. Now, fourth point is Pradhan Mantri Gramoday Yojana. So it was launched in again 2001. It aims at improving the standard of the life of the poor people by developing five important areas. Now, simply in this yojana, the standard of living of the rural area people was improved. गरीब लोग जो कि वहाँ पे रहते हैं गांव में, उनकी कंडीशन को, स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग को इम्प्रूव करने की कोशिश की गई. कैसे हुआ? by providing them with good health facilities, प्राइमरी एजुकेशन मीन्स स्कूल दिखते हैं, प्राइमरी स्कूल्स दिखते हैं आपको वहाँ पर, तो वो जो चीज़ें इसको डेवलप करने के लिए किया. देन ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, हाउसिंग, रोड्स, all these kind of things were there incorporated in this project. Now what are the three projects which are there? It incorporates इसमें कौन कौन से तीन प्रोजेक्ट हैं जो कि इसमें शुरुआत की गई थी? सबसे फर्स्ट वन प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क योजना। जितनी भी सड़कें आज आप देखते हो गांव में आ रही तो वो इसकी वजह से ही आ रही हैं। देन सेकंड इज प्रधानमंत्री ग्रामीण आवास योजना, मीन्स रहने के लिए घर उनके लिए, so that is another problem by providing them with some housing facilities. Then the C is pradhan mantri gramin drinking water yojana. Now in this they were getting good sanitized water or good quality of water, एंड दोज प्लेसेस इन विच पानी की प्रॉब्लम बहुत ज़्यादा थी उसमें भी सप्लाई करने की कोशिश की गई। तो दिस रियली इम्प्रूव द कंडीशन ऑफ द रूरल एरियाज। नाउ JPRGY, Jay Prakash Rozgar Guarantee योजना, so this comes seeks the to provide guaranteed employment in the backward district। ये काय के लिए आया था जय प्रकाश योजना? बेसिकली to provide the employment opportunity for the backward region peoples। Now the स्वर्ण जयंती शहरी रोजगार योजना, now this is again शहरी, is this for cities? So this योजना was launched on 1st December 1997। नेहरू रोजगार योजना प्राइम मिनिस्टर इंटीग्रेटेड अर्बन, मीन्स सिविल, जो मैं थोड़ा शहर वाले एरियाज हैं उसमें पॉवर्टी को कम करने के लिए ये आई थी। ना बेसिकली इसमें दो चीजें, नेहरू रोजगार योजना एंड प्राइम मिनिस्टर इंटीग्रेटेड अर्बन पॉवर्टी इरेडिकेशन प्रोग्राम हैज बीन मर्ज इन दिस योजना ऑफ स्वर्ण जयंती शहरी रोजगार योजना। सो द ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या था ऑफ दिस योजना वाज टू प्रोवाइड सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट और वेज एम्प्लॉयमेंट टू द अर्बन एम्प्लॉयड or underemployment people include the following two programs. Now, simply self-employment was provided to the people of the urban areas here. Now, urban self-employment program was there, then urban wage employment program was there. So in terms of wages means labors and self-employment people who want to do this job or employee as a employee they want to work in the cities. So for improvement, for their improvement it was done. It was a kind of self-employment thing. So some funding will also be governed or given to these people, and this is how they can improve their condition. So out of this total expenditure of this project, 75% will be borne by the central government and the 25% will be given by the state government. So here you can see that both the central government and state government are sharing the expenditures like 75% and 25%. So this is how the condition they are improving for these expenditures। इस expenditure को करने से उनको self employment मिलेगा वहाँ के लोगों को। So this is a good kind of thing which is started again by the government। All these measures are done by the government, okay? Now seventh is Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana। This was started now. This scheme was again providing employment to the educated people. So those people who are educated and they are not having employment, so this kind of Rozgar Yojana was started under this Prime Minister name। So the scheme was provided a loan up to 1 lakh for opening up a new enterprise and 2 lakh for other activities। So if any person wants to start any kind of business, he'll be getting a loan up to 1 lakh rupees for starting his own enterprise, okay, and 2 lakhs for some doing some other kind of activity. For enterprises it is 1 lakh, and if for some other activity he wants to do then it is 2 lakh। So after this, the development of small and cottage industry, this is again small enterprises. What happens, this small enterprise they simply focus on this labor intensive technique which again provides employment to the people, and employment generate income, and income will come, then definitely the poverty will be reduced. So special measures have been taken by the government to develop small and cottage industry with a view to remove this poverty। So now minimum needs programs to raise the standard of the living of the poor people's minimum need program was launched during the fifth plan, okay? Now the program covers the primary education, adult education, rural health, rural water supply, rural roads, rural electrification, rural housing, ecological improvement of the urban slums। So all here you can see that all these slum areas means जो झुग्गी झोपड़ी और बस्ती वाला एरिया रहता है उसको इम्प्रूव किया गया। रोड्स बनाए, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोवाइड की, हाउसिंग फैसिलिटी, हेल्थ फैसिलिटीज, एडल्ट एजुकेशन लाइक प्राइमरी स्कूल्स खोले गए, तो वहाँ पे एजुकेशन को इम्प्रूव करने से भी काफ़ी कंडीशंस जो भी मिनिमम नीड्स होती पुअर की उसको प्रोवाइड किया गया। So minimum by the help of this minimum needs program, it was done. Then it was now 10 point here. Now in this 20 point program, what were the things which are allotted? So basically it was launched on in 1982 on 14th January. Okay. Now with a view to eradicating this poverty, what are the following 20 points are there? The first is increase in irrigation capacity. Increase irrigation capacity. If the irrigation capacity will be increased, definitely more this agriculture lands will be benefited. Then increase production of pulses and oil seeds. They focus on the production of pulses and oil seeds because these are essential for each and everyone, and most of the farmers are indulged in it, so their condition would also be improved. Then extension of integrated rural development program, the National Rural Employment Program. So for here, they just work for this employment in the rural areas, and in this one, this integrated rural development program, the condition of the rural areas was improved by establishing some roads, kacha roads even there was not there, so they try to make some roads as well, damar roads we can say, or tar roads were made here. Now this improved the condition of the development was there in this rural area, and at the same point of time, there was employment was also provided to them. देन फिक्सेशन ऑफ सीलिंग ऑफ लैंड होल्डिंग. सो व्हाट हैपेंड सी पहले बहुत सारे लोगों के पास में लैंड होल्डिंग्स रहती थी, तो अब उनसे सीलिंग कर दी गई, मतलब आप एक लिमिट तक ही लैंड अपने पास रख सकते हो और उसके बाद आप अगर ज़्यादा है तो गवर्नमेंट उससे आपको ले लेगी और गरीबों को दे देगी. नाउ मिनिमम वेजेस टू एग्रीकल्चर वर्कर्स. फॉर एग्रीकल्चर वर्कर्स के लिए मिनिमम वेजेस वहाँ पे देने पड़ते हैं. एग्रीकल्चर में जो काम कर रहे हैं उनको वेजेस के रूप में एक मिनिमम वेज होनी चाहिए, मतलब बहुत कम एक्सप्लॉयटेशन कर दो, बहुत ही कम वेजेस दे रहे हो, दैट इज रॉन्ग. So provide them with proper wages in the rural areas or in agriculture workers. Then rehabilitation of bonded labor. Bonded labor क्या होता है? बंधुआ मजदूर को बोलते हैं, तो उनको rehabilitate किया गया, उनको सही जगह काम दिया गया. देन एक्सपेंशन ऑफ शेड्यूल कास्ट एंड ST SC प्रोग्राम लॉन्च किया गया, जिससे ST SC जो आउट काफ़ी अपने बहुत पिछड़े हुए वर्ग हैं उनको इम्प्रूव करने की कंडीशन जो रहती है वो किया गया. सो दे वर मोर फोकस्ड ओवर दिस ST SC ग्रुप. Basically like in tribal areas you can see some education facilities also there, like Eklavya is there for providing education. So all these kind of things just simply provided for ST SC, so this condition of this poor will also improve. Then drinking water facility was there, houses in the rural areas were there, improvement of the slum areas means झुग्गी झोपड़ी उनकी condition improve की गई. Then development of power capacity, electricity provide की गई. Okay, in 11 point power capacity was improved in order to provide this electricity in the rural areas. Then development of forest and gobar gas plant. So gobar gas plant basically this can be used as a fuel for cooking food. So again ये प्रॉब्लम होता था, वो गांव के लोग या फिर जो पुअर हैं उनके पास लकड़ी जलाते हैं बेसिकली फॉर जस्ट कुकिंग फूड, दे नीड सम फ्यूल विच इज वुड, तो वुड वो यूज करते थे, तो गोबर गैस प्लांट से उनको कुछ चीजें अवेलेबल हो पाई. तो फॉरेस्ट से वुड और प्लस गोबर गैस प्लांट से दे कैन कुक फूड. नाउ नाउ द फैमिली प्लानिंग ये सिखाया गया, so not to have too many children in one family, this was told to them. Then setting up of PHC like primary health centers, प्राथमिक चिकित्सालय खोले गए. Okay, वहाँ पर भी doctor and nurses will be there who will take care of that. Then welfare program of women and children. ओके ना वेलफेयर प्रोग्राम फॉर वुमेन, जो लेडीज हैं उनके जो बच्चे हैं उनके लिए प्रोग्राम्स स्टार्ट किए गए. प्राइमरी एजुकेशन फॉर कंपलसरी लाइक हियर नाउ फॉर 16 to 14 ईयर्स. तो प्राइमरी एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड किया गया 6 से 14 साल के बच्चों के लिए. देन एक्सपेंशन ऑफ पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन बाय फेयर शॉप्स, और फेयर प्राइस शॉप्स अगेन उचित मूल्य की दुकान जो राशन की दुकान होती है बेसिकली वहां से, तो उसको एक्सपेंड किया गया, मीन्स मोर सच काइंड ऑफ फेयर प्राइस शॉप्स वर ओपन. नाउ in this point the simple industrial policy was there. So this is not explained well over here, but यहाँ पर बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्रीज एस्टेब्लिश की गई, बहुत बड़ी नहीं छोटी इंडस्ट्री जो कि कंडीशन वहाँ पर जाकर बैकवर्ड रीजन में इम्प्रूव कर सकती थी. देन चेकिंग ऑन जनरेशन ऑफ ब्लैक मनी. तो ब्लैक मनी को कर्ब किया गया, गवर्नमेंट ने ब्लैक मनी का बहुत ध्यान रखा. देन एफिशिएंट मैनेजमेंट ऑफ पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइजेस यूनिट्स. ऑल दोस पब्लिक सेक्टर मीन्स वो सारी इंडस्ट्रीज जो कि गवर्नमेंट की थी उसको क्या किया गया, उसको काफ़ी एफिशिएंटली मैनेज किया गया, मतलब कि वहाँ पर जितने भी रिसोर्सेज वेस्ट हो रहे थे उसका अच्छे से यूज़ कर सकते. तो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज एफिशिएंट मैनेजमेंट हो रहा है अब उनका इंडस्ट्रियल यूनिट्स का, क्योंकि वो वेलफेयर करती है. देखो गवर्नमेंट की जो इंडस्ट्रीज रहती है बेसिकली वेलफेयर करती है, तो अगर उनका एफिशिएंट मैनेजमेंट किया जाए तो वो चीज़ और आगे ले जाएंगे उसको. Now Manrega. Manrega mein you don't have to write too much. Only till here you have to see. So what is this Manrega? The people who are willing to do this job, okay, or to undertake this unskilled manual work at a minimum wage are offered employment for the minimum 100 days. अब यहाँ पे जो कि skilled लोग हैं या फिर unskilled भी हैं, तो उनको एक minimum wage offer किया जाता है और employment दिया जाता है for period of 100 days. So this is a point which is under this Mahatma Gandhi Nation रूरल एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी एक्ट. ओके, So whoever is looking for jobs, so those who are finding employment or looking for employment are to report in this rural area. They will have to go to this rural area and they will have to tell them where the employment program is launched. So in the areas, in the villages जहाँ पर ये scheme launch हुई है वहाँ पर जाके they can get this work. Now, this program is becoming extremely popular in the rural areas. Accordingly, one estimate, now many people have got benefit from this. No, in the rural area, like 6.22 crore to 7.7 crores in 2018-19. So many people got benefit because of this. Then micro units or Mudra Bank is there, the last which is started by the government. So here government set up Mudra Bank in 2015. The objective is to meet the क्रेडिट नीड्स ऑफ द माइक्रो एंटरप्राइजेस, जो छोटे उद्योग हैं उनकी जो नीड्स होती है, फाइनेंशियल नीड्स रहती है, उस क्रेडिट प्रोवाइड करने का काम करता है मुद्रा बैंक. अंडर दिस मुद्रा बैंक योजना, बेसिकली द एंटरप्राइज माइक्रो एंटरप्राइजेस इज एंटाइटल्ड टू गेट अ लोन अप टू 10 लाख पर यूनिट. सो हर एक पर यूनिट पे कितना लोन ले सकती है, वो 10 लाख तक लोन दे सकती है. सो दिस इज अगेन अ बेनिफिट. नाउ पैप्स और पॉवर्टी एलिवेशन प्रोग्राम अ क्रिटिकल असेसमेंट, तो यहाँ पे क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं पॉवर्टी एलिवेशन प्रोग्राम जो कि गवर्नमेंट के जो स्टार्ट किए थे उनको. So studies conducted to evaluate the performance of PAP suggested that there has been some noticeable changes over time. So the percentage of population BPL has declined from 46% to 21%. तो ये काफी कम हुई है, 46% तक गिर के 21.9% तक आ गई. सो दिस इज अ गुड थिंग. नाउ वेज रेट हैज टेंडेड टू राइज ओवर टाइम. और वेज रेट जो था ये कंटिन्यूसली बढ़ा है, तो वेजेस इंप्रूव हुए. Again, yet PAP has failed to deliver the desired result. Now they are criticizing over here. These are the positive result over here. You can see the positives that the poverty कम हुई, यहाँ पर poverty कम हुई, then wages जो थे continuously बढ़े लोगों के, that is the positive points. So this is positive effect is there, but there this is now negative here. How this is negative? Why it is failed to deliver? The administration concerned staff were inefficient and could not work effectively because of complex procedures involved. Also there was no one to monitor the follow up action. तो ये जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होता है, जो स्टाफ रहते हैं, वो काफ़ी इनएफिशिएंट से और काफ़ी अच्छे से काम उन्होंने नहीं किया. और इसकी वजह से क्या, जो भी प्रोसीजर्स इन्होंने लगाए, जो भी मॉनिटरिंग वगैरह होनी चाहिए पुअर पीपल्स को ठीक करने के लिए, उनकी कंडीशन को ठीक करने के लिए, अच्छे से नहीं हो पाई. तो दिस इज अगेन इनएफिशिएंट एटीट्यूड ऑफ दिस वर्किंग स्टाफ. Then, for second point, those in charge of the program favored the educated, rich and resources people were against the poor. What happens here? See, when this program was launched, so ज़्यादातर educated peoples पे ज़्यादा focus था, जो वहाँ पर उस एरिया में educated है उसको ज़्यादा favor किया. एंड रिच जो अमीर लोग हैं, रिसोर्सफुल पीपल है, एज अगेंस्ट द पुअर. तो जो रिसोर्सफुल पीपल उनका ज़्यादा ख्याल रखा गया और पुअर को वहाँ पे निगलेक्ट किया गया. Then remote areas and poor household located in the interior of the village were neglected. तो काफी दूर दराज वाले जो एरिया रहते हैं, इंटीरियर रीजन है व्हीकल के, वहां तक ये सब प्रोग्राम्स पहुंच नहीं पाए, सक्सेसफुल नहीं रह पाए. दे वर अनेबल टू रीच द डीप एरियाज इन द of all these backward regions or rural areas. Their condition is still worse. Now, fourth point, institutions that were needed to provide facility like credit marketing were not supportive. Now, these institutions were made to help these poor people, like providing them with credit facility, marketing for the surplus of food grains of these farmers. तो फार्मर्स को भी मार्केटिंग मिलना चाहिए उसकी ग्रेन्स के लिए, ये सब सपोर्टिव नहीं थे, इतना अच्छा सपोर्ट नहीं मिल पाया. ट्रेडर्स आज भी इन्वॉल्व है, उनको नहीं मिल पाता इतना ज़्यादा, एजेंट्स आ जाते हैं इनके बीच में. तो दैट इज अनदर point. Now, after this fifth point, definition the poor was not clear to many. As a result, many non-poor took advantage of the program. Now, poor की definition लोगों को पता नहीं है कि क्या है, और इसका एडवांटेज हर किसी ने ले लिया. बहुत सारे लोग जो कि नॉन पुअर थे उन्होंने भी ले लिया. Now, this power groups in the villages started exercising control over delivery mechanism of the PAP programs. As a result, there is a large scale leakage in the delivery package and the poor received only a fragment of the aid of earmarked for them. So now power group in the villages started exercising over the control of the delivery mechanism of poverty alleviation program. अब गांव में भी कुछ लोग पावरफुल ग्रुप रहते हैं, वो उसका एडवांटेज ले लेते हैं, वो इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं अपना, और वहां पर क्या होता है, वो सारा बेनिफिट वो ले जाते हैं. तो इसकी वजह से एक लीकेज दिखता है. जैसे कि आपको ग्रेन्स आई, तो ग्रेन्स गांव में गई, तो वहां पर जो लोग हैं जो कि पावरफुल है, दे विल टेक कंट्रोल ऑफ दैट सरप्लस ग्रेन्स, एंड दे विल take that advantage and the benefit will not be provided to the poor. गरीब तक वो पहुंचेगा ही नहीं। वो जो डिलीवरी पैकेज आता है वो पुअर को कुछ हिस्सा ही मिलता है उसका, बाकी सभी लोग खा जाते हैं। दैट इज अ काइंड ऑफ अगेन अ वर्स्ट थिंग नाउ। The After this, the seventh point, the PAPs were largely government-sponsored program and lacked the participation of the people. Now, only government was taking care of everything, and participation of the people was very less. Now, eighth point, the strategy of PAP was not linked with the overall development strategy and did nothing to modify the overall functioning of the economy, which is the root cause of the poverty. Also, it did not consider the fact that the poor would not be able to take advantage of the PAP owing to the lack of awareness and initiative. Now what happens see, जो गरीब लोग हो गए थे उनको इतना अवेयरनेस नहीं रहता कि कौन सा प्रोग्राम कब क्या शुरू हो रहा है। तो जो स्ट्रेटेजी थी बेसिकली इट वाज नॉट इन लाइन विद द 5 ईयर प्लान। जो 5 ईयर प्लान्स बने थे उसके साथ में इसको नहीं देखा गया, इसको अलग से देखा गया एज अ डेवलपमेंट मेजर टू इम्प्रूव द कंडीशन ऑफ द पुअर। So, so they did not do anything to modify the overall functioning of the economy. So this is how the effect of this PAP was not seen. Also, it did not consider the fact that poor were not able to take advantage of the PAC. See, गरीब लोग उसका एडवांटेज क्यों नहीं ले पाए, क्योंकि इतना ज़्यादा उनको अवेयरनेस नहीं थी कि कहाँ पे क्या प्रोग्राम लॉन्च हो रहा है, अनाउंसमेंट कहाँ हो रहे हैं। सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ऑल्सो मैनी पीपल get deprived of all this kind of facility provided by the government. तो गवर्नमेंट ने यहाँ पे कोशिश तो की, बट अगर आप डेवलपमेंट के साथ में रखते हो उसको अलग से एक प्रोग्राम की तरह नहीं, उसको इंक्लूसिव रखते लाइक इन 5 ईयर प्लान्स, तो उसका कुछ इम्पैक्ट दिखता। नाउ दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग जो कि साइड बाय साइड चल रही थी और उसकी वजह से जो भी इम्प्रूवमेंट हो पाया वो हो गया। नाउ there is urgent need for PEP for more effective and meaningful. Now this is a kind of conclusion here. So no doubt the government has spent a huge amount of money on the poverty alleviation program. So government ने काफी पैसा खर्च किया है to remove this poverty, but certainly the desired results are not available. Desired result उनको नहीं मिल पाया। Inefficient delivery mechanism of the government along with the large scale corruption are the principal factor behind the failure of PAP. So basically what happens है यहाँ पर जो करप्शन बहुत ज़्यादा है, जो नेता लोग रहते हैं वो करप्टेड हैं बहुत सारा, तो ये जो बेनिफिट मिलना चाहिए गरीबों तक वो जा नहीं पाता। तो एक इनएफिशिएंट डिलीवरी सिस्टम दिखता है गवर्नमेंट का यहाँ पे। Now, late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi once remarked that the total help earmarked for the poor was only 15% actually reached to them. जो भी मदद जाती है गरीबों तक, तो राजीव गांधी ने ये बोला कि 15% तक ही वहाँ पहुंच पाती, मीन्स करप्शन इतना ज़्यादा है कि दे आर नॉट गेटिंग द बेनिफिट। So these are the words of this of our late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. So this is all about your chapter poverty. So that's all for the day. We'll be beginning with the new chapter in the next video. Thank you.